What's going on, guys? I'm Dave, and in this video, I'm going to show you what I ate and did on an extended weekend in Charlotte. So if you're going to head there for the first time, you can see if any of these things might be for you, and if you're from Charlotte, you can let me know what I missed. I live in Denver, but I was out in Charlotte for work, but I tried to make the most of my time there by checking out a bunch of different places to eat, things to do, and places to see. Quick side note, I was there with our almost 2-year-old, so I didn't get to go out as much as I might have in a different period of my life, but I still had a blast. I did a bunch of Googling to find best of lists and suggestions. My coworkers also had a bunch of suggestions for me as well. But like I said earlier in this video, if you live in Charlotte and you have other suggestions for me the next time I'm in town, I will absolutely take them, add them to the comments. Okay, let's take a look at what I ate first, and then we'll move on to what I did in Charlotte, North Carolina. Let's start things off with two of my favorite meals I had in Charlotte, Haberdish and Cajun Queen. Both of these places seem to pop up on almost every best of Charlotte food list, so I had to check them out. Haberdish was a great way for me to kick off the eating part of my trip with their brand of Southern-inspired food in a cool setting in the Noda area of Charlotte. While the fried chicken here I think is supposed to be the star of the show, and I did like it a lot, the thing that I actually enjoyed the most at Haberdish was the sides. I was eating with my coworkers, so I was able to try out a bunch of different things. The hush puppies, the kale salad, the collard greens, the cauliflower, all of these things were as good as they looked. My personal favorite of the sides was the collard greens, so definitely do not skip out on those if you end up in Haberdish. I really like this place a lot. My next favorite meal in Charlotte was definitely Cajun Queen. We don't have a lot of Southern-inspired food in Colorado, so I was absolutely trying to get my fix while I was out in Charlotte. Cajun Queen serves New Orleans-style food in a house that's over 100 years old. It has a lot of character, and it's a pretty memorable place to eat. The Creole dish was great, along with the fried seafood platter that I also had. I haven't had really good fried oysters in a minute, so this was really a treat for me. The fried catfish was also really good, and the flavors on the Creole sauce was just really on point. If I went there again, which I probably would if I went back to Charlotte, I think I would literally order the same things and I'd be very happy with them. So those were my two favorite meals in Charlotte, but let's not forget about that Carolina barbecue. I love me some barbecue. I make it at home myself, and we also occasionally go to Texas to eat barbecue, so I was definitely excited to get some of that Carolina barbecue that I've heard so much about. And while I didn't take pictures of my work catered lunch that was from City Barbecue in the Ballantyne area of Charlotte, that was a really good catered lunch. The sauces were really good. It was a great way to have ribs, and it was so much better than a boxed Panera Bread meal that you normally have at an office get-together. And because office catered meals kind of don't count, we also went to Midwood Smokehouse that a lot of my coworkers recommended to me, and we also drove all the way down to South Carolina to try out a place called Railroad Barbecue that was near the University of South Carolina. Midwood Smokehouse has a few locations in the Charlotte area and was recommended to us by my coworkers, and I have a feeling we just didn't catch them on their best day because we had a really big miss with our meal. We got one of the meals that included ribs with the cola sauce, chopped pork, sausage, and brisket. Of these, the brisket and the ribs were my personal favorite. They were really good, just great flavor all around. The sauces were great as well. We also had the collard greens there, which while they couldn't compare to Haberdish, they were also super solid. The big miss that we had at Midwood Smokehouse was somehow the mac and cheese. We got a small side of it for our son, and this thing tasted unmistakably like cleaning products. It was very like Clorox-like someone had cleaned the pan and never washed it out and just started making mac and cheese in it. It was pretty nasty and very obviously not okay. Our waitress took a whiff of it, made a face, and replaced it with the banana pudding instead. It definitely was not right. I cannot imagine that this is how they make their mac and cheese, but it did put a damper on our meal. At Railroad Barbecue down in South Carolina, we had really good brisket, but the ribs were not even close to done. They actually told us that they had sold out of ribs in the morning and they were hustling to have them ready They said that they are ready, but as someone who has a smoker at home, those things were probably about 2 hours from being actually done. So the brisket was really good, the strawberry shortcake was good, the service was very friendly, but those ribs, not done. I was trying to make it out to Sweet Lou's Barbecue in Charlotte because that popped up on a bunch of lists for me, but I just ran out of time. If you're from Charlotte and you landed on this video, please leave me your can't miss barbecue recommendations. Would love to give this another go because I think we just had bad luck while we were out there. We also went to Roosters in Uptown. It popped up on a bunch of different lists, never really at the top, but it seemed like a place that we should check out for their wood-fired food. It was good all around. It wasn't necessarily my favorite, but you know, it fell into that genre of slightly more upscale American food. I enjoyed our salad and the Brussels sprout side that we got here, but I honestly ordered the wrong main dish. That's really on me. I had such a good experience at Cajun Queen getting the fried oysters that I got them again at Roosters, and that's dumb. It's a wood-fired restaurant, so why I got fried food is kind of beyond me. I don't really know why I did it, but the salad and the sides were good. And also, we weren't super hungry by the time we made it to Rooster, so I probably didn't give it a really fair shot, but it was okay all around. I could probably go back and really, really love it. If you're enjoying this video so far, please give it a like to help more people find it. Now, back to the video. We have a ton of different food halls in Denver, so I had to check out Optimist Hall while I was out in Charlotte, and man, this place is huge. This 22,000 square foot food hall was just packed with people and different food stalls, and it was just cool to see how Charlotte is doing food halls, which are popping up pretty much in every major city around the United States. While I did like it, it was honestly one of the more chaotic food halls that I've ever been to, and I think that one of the issues with it is that all of the stalls let you know that your food is ready in a different way. Some of them use pagers, others of them probably text you, other ones want you to just stand there so that they can yell your name, but it's really loud in there and it's really packed, so I think it makes it a little bit more chaotic than it probably needs to be. I was going there more to just check out the overall vibe, so I didn't really want to wait around for 30 minutes for some of the more busy stalls, but the food was decent that I had. I enjoyed it, and it was cool just to check out and see a bunch of people just walking around and trying a bunch of different food. On the breakfast pastry front, we tried Amelie's and Raining Donuts. I love a good French bakery, and it was no surprise to see that Amelie's is super popular in the Charlotte area, from the quirky vibes inside to the beautiful pastries that are on display right before you while you're waiting in line. I can see why a lot of people like this place. It was busy, but not too busy that you couldn't get a seat. We got one pretty much no problem. Maybe in very, very busy times it's different, but there's plenty of space when we were there. And it just had a good, happy vibe to it. It's definitely a place I would go back to the next time that I'm in Charlotte. Because we were staying in Noda, we had to stop by Raining Donuts to get some of their made-to-order donuts from a literal hole in the wall next to some of the bigger restaurants in the area. And really, most donuts are really good. Inherently, the genre is good. So it's tough to say that any donut is really the best donut you've had in your life, but I really did like the more cakey style donuts that we had at Raining Donuts. It seemed like a lot of people from the neighborhood walk down here with their dogs, either to grab a coffee or grab a donut real quick, maybe split a little bit with their dog at the same time, and that was really cool to see. I like the real local vibe with it, and it's super small, so it's fun to just stop by if you happen to be in the area, which you probably will be if you're visiting Charlotte. Moving on from food, I wanted to get into some of the things that I did and places that I saw while I was out in Charlotte. All of these were highly recommended to me by people who live in the area, and they all came through. They were really, really great. First, I went to a Hornets game. I have Denver Nuggets season tickets out here, so it was cool to watch the Hornets and LaMelo play, get a whole vibe for what the stadium is like. It was really cool to see how decked out it is in Hornets stuff on the walls and in the walkways. And it was also very spacious. The hallways were about twice as wide as what we have in Denver, while the seating area was significantly smaller and more intimate, which I thought was really cool. My season tickets are in the back row of the 100 level for Nuggets games, and if you are in the back row of the 100 level for Hornets games, you're literally twice as close to the court. For a big NBA fan like me, I love the whole vibe. If you're used to being in mega stadiums where you're really far away from the court, like the artist formerly known as Staples Center in LA, for Lakers games, This is a completely different vibe for Hornets games, and I'm here for it. I really liked it. A ton of different people recommended that we should check out the Whitewater Center while we were in town, and I really didn't know what to expect, and it ended up being a highlight of our trip to Charlotte. Even though it was crazy windy and not really even close to warm when we went out there, it was really fun to watch people kayak, raft, stand-up paddleboard, also doing ropes courses and zip lines, all of that kind of stuff. If you like being outside and just enjoy people watching, this is a pretty cool place to be. I had heard that this place gets crazy busy in the summertime, and I absolutely believe it. There were still a good amount of people there, and the weather borderline sucked while we were out there. Our son was really too young to partake in any of the activities, but he really had a blast just walking around the Whitewater course, checking out people on zip lines, climbing up and down the different grassy areas. He had a lot of fun, and we enjoyed just walking around the area. Even though, we didn't get to jump in the water and really do anything, it was still a really different experience, and I'd absolutely go back. Another place that lived up to expectations was Discovery Place Science, which was probably the most fun morning that our son had while we were in Charlotte, and it was one of the better children's museums that I've ever been to. They have a water area, a physics area, and a small little rainforest type corner where you can see some different birds and animals. We actually ended up watching 2 turtles going at it. It was kind of weird. Luckily, our son really had no idea what was going on. There are a bunch of different interactive exhibits. Some of them are probably a little too advanced for a 2-year-old, but I saw a bunch of elementary school students there on field trips, and they were having a blast. My wife is actually also a therapist, and so they actually had a limited time mental health exhibit running there, and I thought that was really cool. For adults especially, I think some, maybe teenagers and stuff, would get a lot of the stuff that was there. But that was really neat to check out while we were in town. I'm sure we'll travel and be gone within a few months, but I really enjoyed that as well. And coming from Denver, I love me a good city park. And we went out to Freedom Park in Charlotte, and it reminded me a lot of Wash Park in Denver, which is probably our most popular park that we have out here. We had perfect weather while we were out there. The trees were blooming, people were out. It was just a great time at the park. There are a lot more trees in Charlotte than we have in Denver. I can't really confirm that as a fact, but it appeared that way. So this was just a really nice park to be able to just take a stroll, walk around with your kid, and watch other kids having birthday parties and running around on the playgrounds. Our son had a really good time at the Carolina Panthers part of the playground, where there's kind of like fun, kid-like football drills and other things you could do. He had a lot of fun just running around and running into things and pushing stuff. We had a great time here. If I lived in Charlotte, this would definitely be a regular place that we would go to hang out. Again, if you're a Charlotte local, please let me know if there are other cool parks that we could check out. That, Freedom Park is the one that came up when I was Googling, but I'm sure there are other good ones in the city because this one is so nice. It was big, but not overwhelmingly huge, and it was a great way to spend a morning. Okay, so if you're heading to Charlotte soon, I hope that this video gave you some ideas of things to eat and places to go while you're in town. If you're from Charlotte and you're just watching this video for fun, please let me know, how did I do? What did I miss? I packed most of the stuff into about 3 or 4 days. And I would love to know your favorite restaurants, barbecue places, and other things to check out, especially if they're family friendly. I'd love to do whatever you think is the best thing in Charlotte. Of course, if you enjoyed this video or learned something new, please give it a like and share it with that friend that's coming to Charlotte with you. Thanks so much for watching and for coming along for my trip to Charlotte.